Actually, not much has been happening with Tesla for a while. But that's not totally the case. Their production has likely increased by about 40% since a year ago, but a lot of that can be attributed to China's production increases rather than just Texas and Berlin ramping up. In fact, because of Berlin, Texas's low run rate, they are actually reducing margins because there are many more economies of scale to be used in those factories. Nevertheless, China is manufacturing extraordinarily well, and this shows that it is possible to get EV production to much lower costs. That being said, it's unclear how much of that Chinese manufacturing is unique to China and how much can be copied elsewhere. Tesla has undoubtedly learnt a lot from all the pros in Chinese manufacturing. And even though China is doing so well in terms of low costs and high production rates, it is still utilizing Fremont's ancient methods. Since the Model Y, which was also around 70 Model 3 initially, China has not advanced to the next level with structural battery packs or front castings. In any case, we still largely have the same Model 3 design from 6 years ago. Yes, the Cybertruck will finally be released in a few months, and I think it will really breathe new life into the company and serve as a reminder that Tesla does, in fact, occasionally release new products. The 4680 Model Y was somewhat of a new product, but it was very disappointing in the way it happened. It was poorly thought out and isn't even in mass production today. Don't worry, this isn't going to be a depressing video. Rather, it's just an introduction meant to get you feeling a little down in order to justify that, to put it another way, it's been a while. But in that time, Tesla has been working very hard. Man-hours, engineering, cash resources, research, and everything else. So much so that something is expected to be released shortly. That's the point I'm trying to make. Yes, the cyber chat. But perhaps more importantly, just to be clear, I am no more knowledgeable than any other ardent Tesla research enthusiast. Rather, I am merely attempting to apply common sense, make connections between the bits of information and facts we do have, and draw conclusions as best I can. As many of you are aware, I have done this frequently and have a respectable track record of getting this right, attempting to forecast what will emerge from Tesla's factories. Yes, I've made a few mistakes along the way, but I'm not scared to top up myself out there and back it all up with as many events or facts as possible to justify my opinion as to why, and I present the same evidence to you that I'm basing my inferences on, which is why I also appreciate all your comments from your interpretations too. It would seem that the evidence is stacking out more around the Model 3 Highland coming out relatively soon, though further supported by even more rumors of what this car just might be like. I was saying, Shanghai is still using old manufacturing techniques. Back from 2017, when the Model 3 was released, it would be remiss to not think that Shanghai have learned so many new ways of producing the Model 3 that could make it more efficient, increase production speed, and reduce cost, of course. They claim the Model 3 is not yet even using a gigapress. There's supposedly a new gigapress in Shanghai. Though how big will this Highland update be? Is it a minor facelift with new headlights, taillights, and bumpers? Or is this a major revamp with a rear casting new solid battery pack? It is true that CAL tracks your battery packs. Hardware for brand new HD cameras. It's almost surprising that Tesla hasn't used one for the Model 3 up until now. Even though there are a lot of people out there who are suggesting that this new Model 3 will be a lower price, so I'm even putting it in a price point around $27,000. New interior. Tesla has made this transition before when the Model Y in Fremont went from no rear casting to adding the first gigapress in the Model E. It didn't require that much downtime. We would not want the Variant 3 to be in the same price range as the compact variant, which is expected to be released sometime around $25,000. Tesla has already set the pricing point for the Model 3, and supply and demand are at the market clearing price. Although there is a chance that the Shanghai Model 3 factory could dramatically increase output, perhaps by 50 or even 100%. Keep in mind that the Model 3 factory is actually larger than the Model A factory by floor space. The Model 3 is also obviously a smaller vehicle, but the Model E factory has significantly higher output than the Model 3. The competitors are in position competition with one another, not to mention the lost margin. Tesla produced the Y into the 3 using all of their manufacturing efficiencies, which allowed for a large boost in output. Increased efficiencies are also synonymous with lower costs. Investors believe that we could save anywhere from $2,000 to $5,000 per vehicle, which is obviously enormously significant and could increase gross margins by 10%. Even a 5% reduction would have a significant impact, especially if similar savings can be repeated for the Model Y, However, the rumors we're hearing go beyond simple efficiencies. One of the most significant changes to the specifications we heard about is the increase in battery capacity from 60 to 66 kilowatt hours. This will increase the range of the Model 3 rear-wheel drive from 270 miles to over 300 miles. This can be the biggest news regarding the Highland, especially if the larger battery is actually lighter because of structural changes with a new hybrid cathode in the cells. It's a higher spec, better-looking car that will cost less to build. So is it because of its increased capacity that people assume Tesla will lower the price? If the specifications are improved with more range and a new appearance, demand will undoubtedly rise. What Tesla has done in the past is clearly increased when demand rises. Demand for an EV with a range of more than 300 miles will also outpace that of a 270-mile vehicle. This is because EVs with a range of more than 300 miles are psychologically more comforting to consumers, who will be able to buy with greater assurance and not experience range anxiety because they can travel further between charges or on longer trips. Additionally, there is currently nothing else available in the 300-mile range. Market anything near this price point, so if anything, the price may go up a little. However, since we are still in an era of relatively high interest rates, eventually those rates should also go down and lower the cost of car ownership. Maybe in the future, we could see 25% margins for Model 3 cars, which would remind us of what Tesla is truly capable of and has done in the past. Their magic is still very much alive though, as they will be producing a lot more vehicles than they have historically, but since their operating expenses have not increased at the same rate, they will still leave great operating margins and operating profit for around $25,000. Yet still, with Tesla's charging network, it would be capable of doing a lot of long-distance driving too, if necessary. But then if you want a longer-range vehicle, it's the Model 3 with over 300 miles of range at around $40,000 of course. The Model i2, which is competing as a crossover, and in a different market segment, and although the current 4680 version of the Model Y is only around 280 miles of range, the 4680 sales still have a long way to go, and within time, we'll be offering in excess of 300 miles too. And this Gen 3 compact version is also what Elon refers to as the robo-taxi, which most likely would be doing city driving and not need long distance. If it was indeed used as a rubber taxi, it's going to be designed around its required purpose, with the specification to match this would be my guess as the product mix for Tesla from these vehicles without cannibalizing the model offering and clearly identifying the market segments. But when will we see the Highland? Well, if I had to guess then, like most of your guesses too, I would say it's going to be when these factories are down for there. These seem like a significant update. So why did Tesla close these factories for about a month without updating the Model 3? It would time in really well by the time the factory is up and running. Then all the old Model 3s in inventory would have probably been exhausted, and all new customers could order the Highland. Then after all that we will soon be focused on how the new Model Y will look. I need to shut it down sometime later in order to update the Model 3 Highland. This is part of the common sense I'm talking about. Thank you. And please remember to subscribe and give us a thumbs up.